Even after Saturday night, the Bearcats still control their own destiny on the gridiron.
You are Locked On Bearcats, your daily podcast on the Cincinnati Bearcats, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome into Locked On Bearcats. Locked On Bearcats is part of the Locked On Podcast Network. We are your team, your Bearcats, every single day. And my name is Jeff Carr. I'm all Cincinnati all the time. I've been a SID for multiple athletic departments, and I've been a Bearcats season ticket holder for football for 7 years now. And I'm glad that you're alongside me here today. Locked On Bearcats today is brought to you by Game Time. Right now, if you download the Game Time app and create an account, use that promo code Locked On College, you'll get $20 off your first purchase. And Chad Brendel's joining us here today. We are going to talk about the basketball season that begins tonight and what you can expect for the Bearcats against Western Carolina. We'll also look at the biggest concern for the football team moving forward after a bit of a humbling weekend, but the Bearcats control their own destiny, and that's the important part of all of this. And joining us to talk about all of that and more is the man who runs the best corner of the internet for Bearcats fans. He is Chad Brendel. Chad, what you got for me today?
Wasn't a great weekend in UC land. Wasn't a great weekend in Cincinnati land as a whole. Hopefully,
too many weekends like that.
Hopefully, Wes Miller's squad can get things pointed back in the right direction. And maybe the team in Norwood loses tonight too, just to make us feel better.
No pressure on the universe to deliver on our expectations here. But the good news is, even with the 45-14 drubbing that they survived, the Bearcats still control their own destiny. If they win out, they should be heading to Dallas.
No, should be, will be.
Yeah. Especially since West Virginia helped us out a little bit there. That was kind of nice to see.
Yeah, that was the thing that changed the math. There was a possibility of 4 teams ending with 1 loss. With Houston losing, now there's only 3, and only 2 of them, best case scenario, only 2 of them can end with 1 loss. If Cincinnati wins out, they will be playing in Dallas. Not that they will, but that is stone cold. They control their own destiny, as it is said, Jeff.
I said that, and just to kind of put a bow on Saturday night before we start looking ahead and things like that, I kind of felt like they just got there and everything just went wrong, and then it was deer in the headlights from there on out. And I hoped that we wouldn't see that. I didn't think it was going to happen because I felt like this team was a lot more stable than that. But I guess everybody's due a bad night, yeah?
It's more about Utah than it is about Cincinnati, I think. And that's not to absolve Cincinnati. But my point being, when I say that, if you make a couple of the mistakes that Cincinnati made, you let Utah get into their identity, who they want to be. They want to grind you out on defense, and they want to put 6, 7 offensive linemen at the line of scrimmage and just run you over, run around you, run you over. But it's almost like playing a triple option team, almost like playing a service academy, in the way that Utah wants to beat you. The only way that you can get them out of that is to play essentially error-free football. And Cincinnati didn't do that. They made too many errors. The missed field goal, the fumble by Sorsby, the missed deep shot to Caleb Goodie, where if he takes the outside route instead of the inside route, he's wide open for – no, this is the play before Sorsby's fumble.
Oh, okay.
He cuts to the post.
Yeah.
He cuts to the post instead of going to the corner. If he goes to the corner, it's an easy touchdown.
Yep.
Little stuff like that, when you play Utah, starts to add up. And, it's 14-7. You make 2 mistakes. You miss the field goal. You get a stop. Then Sorsby fumbles. They go down and get 3. Now it's 17-7. They're up by 10, and they've got you exactly where they want you because the pressure just mounts to be able to knock them off of their game plan. And Cincinnati never did it. Cincinnati never really put that game pressure. After they made it 7-7, They missed all the opportunities outside of, you get it back to 10 with the stop and the score to start the second half. And then you get the interception, and then it's like, ooh, okay, we might really have something here. You go 3 and out after the interception. They were dead in the water after that. They weren't coming back. So they just played into Utah's identity. They let Utah get comfortable being who they are. And that's a really good Utah football team. To beat really good teams, even if you're really good, to beat really good teams, you have to play well. Cincinnati did not play well.
And I wonder, too, because there were a lot of folks that I talked to about the game throughout the weekend, and pretty much all of them had the exact same thought process that was it's 10:15 at night. It was Utah, the first trip you ever made there, all this other stuff. How much factor do you put on the environmentalness of it all?
Not a lot. I mean, a lot of those mistakes happened early, right? Like that's not altitude. That's just doing something that they hadn't done all year, which is be a little sloppy, to not be able to keep their foot on the gas. And look, I mean, if you, let's say you make the field goal, right? 17 or it's 14-10, then you get a stop, you go straight down the field, you're right on the cusp of the red zone. Field goal, touchdown, whatever. It's either 14-13 or 17-14 at that point. And Cincinnati has some control of the game. That's one big thing about this team all season, Jeff.
Early control.
They played from in front.
Yeah.
They played from a position of control. And when you play from a position of control and you're not sloppy, you don't turn it over. Your special teams are good. Your offense is efficient. Even when you're not getting touchdowns, you're moving the ball, flipping field position. Like it's a war term, which is stupid to use in sports, but sometimes I do anyway. They controlled the terms of engagement for most of the first 8 games. And in the Utah game, Utah dictated the terms of engagement in large part because Cincinnati was not crisp. And a team like Utah with a good defense and a great run game, they're just going to eat you alive. They're just going to eat you alive if you're not sharp. And Cincinnati's got to get back to playing sharp, precise football and put that behind them. So, okay, we had a bad game. It's cool. It happens at some point in time during the year. You're not going to be your best, especially when you're playing probably the best team on your schedule. I mean, it's a toss-up between them and BYU. BYU got them close at BYU. But I think Utah is the most talented team they'll play in the regular season. You have to be good, right, to beat that team. And they weren't.
And I think that's probably the biggest value of the loss is the fact that this happened right before the bye week. They got a lot of time to kind of learn from this event where it's like, all right, you should be on a neutral field pretty close to each other, but it was clear that there were a couple of plays that really pushed you over the edge. How do we prevent these plays moving forward? Albeit they're not going to face a defense as tough as Utah moving forward, but you still learn plenty. You still learn plenty from that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I know this, like, the control your own destiny part of it is huge, and moving forward, there's still plenty of things to kind of work on, including something I noticed. I don't know, and maybe it was just Utah, but it felt like Scott Satterfield changed things up a little bit. I want to talk about that coming up next. The next time you're looking to get down to a Bearcats game, you got to get on Game Time and find some great deals for your tickets, because Game Time makes the ticket buying process simple. They show you your all-in pricing up front so that even before you add the ticket to your cart, you know exactly what you're going to pay. There's no surprise fees, surprise taxes, all that stuff. They put it all in front so that you're not surprised at all. And, I mean, say you're not going down to Fifth Third Arena or to Nippert Stadium. Maybe you're going somewhere else. They could show you your view from your seat. That way, you don't get caught in a bad viewpoint. You know exactly what you're getting into before it all happens. Check out the Game Time app today. Download it, create an account, and use the promo code LOCKEDONCollege to get $20 off your first purchase. Make the game buying process simple with Game Time. Again, promo code LOCKEDONCollege saves you $20 off your first purchase. Swipe, tap, ticket, go. Download Game Time today. Thank you for making Locked On Bearcats part of your day. I'd encourage you to make it part of your everyday routine. Hit subscribe right here on YouTube and right on your favorite podcasting app. We're on all of them, free and available everywhere you get your podcast. So with Saturday night's loss and looking forward, I want to get this at least straight in my mind because I keep going back and forth on it. Was it Utah that forced Scott Satterfield into a more conservative 2D style offense? Because it felt like in the first half we saw a better offense that then just got washed away as the game went along. Or was that more of a concerning thing moving forward that you're worried that Scott Satterfield would change things up? Because it felt like the option game was working. The jet sweep motion that they would run early on was nice. And then they abandoned all of that late in the second quarter through the second half.
The problem was, Jeff, is they were going 3 and out. Like we feel like they're not. Why aren't they doing more of that? Well, they had 3 plays and then they were off the field, and we don't get to see. I mean, I think most of their possessions were under 2 minutes. Like, you're just not going to get to see a whole lot. There's not many options. Now, I think they had game planned what they thought would work against Utah's defense, and it didn't. It started on that first drive with 2 passes knocked down at the line of scrimmage. I thought they felt like if we can win quick slants, a drag route, like if we can win quick over the middle or, the stuff getting outside, we've got a chance to keep Utah from blitzing as much. I mean, it felt like they blitzed 6 or more.
Like every play.
Like 50+% of the time. Like if they only brought 5 is still considered a blitz. If they only brought 5, it was like, oh, they dialed back the pressure on that one.
I heard Dan ask Tony, like, was it 70 or 80% on the radio broadcast? And I'm like, yeah, it feels like that. Yeah.
So I think they had a plan to force Utah back, but it didn't work. And then you're in a tough spot once that happens because you spent all week on this game plan. You already know a lot of the stuff that they've had success with is zone stuff because they played a lot of zone teams. So that stuff's not going to work typically. Like, nobody's sitting down in a man defense and in between the zone and catching a pass. You're going to have a defender on you. So it kind of got, I think, Utah imposed their will on Cincinnati's game plan in a sense. The coverage was good. The pressure, although they didn't get a sack, Sorsby was constantly aware of the fact that I've got to get this out before the pressure gets home. And what have we seen a lot this year, Jeff? Him standing back there like patting the leather off the football, waiting for somebody to come open.
First, second, third, fourth, fifth read. Yeah.
You're not getting that. Like, you're getting first, second, and I give a lot of credit to Utah. And then Cincinnati takes blame because the offense wasn't crisp and the game plan didn't work. But I give a lot of credit to Utah for forcing that, for pushing that upon Cincinnati's offense that we're not going to let you get comfortable.
So my biggest concern with that is, can Arizona, BYU, or TCU scheme the same way and have the same success?
So Arizona, to an extent, they play a lot of press man. They have a really good pass defense. They don't pressure like Utah does. So you're going to have and not they're still do a good job getting after the quarterback. You don't have a good pass defense if you don't. But they're not sending 6 and 7. Now, maybe they look at the game tape and go, you know what? We're going to really come after him. We're going to really force the issue here. BYU is a very good defense, but they're not as reliant on those 2 things as Utah is. TCU plays more zone. So that'll be more traditional to what Cincinnati has been facing. I see a lot of people like, well, teams will just see that and copy it. You're 9-10
Nobody's as talented as Utah. Yeah.
Nobody's as talented. And you're 9-10 weeks into the season. You're not scrapping your defense and saying, okay, we're going to play press man and blitz all the time. If that's not your identity, that's Utah's identity. Under Kyle Whittingham, that's who they've been for 20 years.
Yeah.
Like, that's just how they play defense. So I don't buy a lot. Guess what? Changing who you are to fit the opponent is really hard. And not a lot of teams can do it. See Cincinnati 2 days ago when they tried to kind of change who they are offensively to beat Utah's defense, and Utah was ready for it. So
Right.
it's not now, but Arizona does give me some concern because they are a very good pass defense. They do play a lot of press man. They play a lot of man in general. So Cincinnati's going to get some of the same, looks, some of the same issues that they had against Utah are going to be there against Arizona. They've got 2 weeks now to go back to the drawing board and say, here's what didn't work last week. Here's what we liked. We need to clean it up.
And I also think too, and I haven't talked about this as much since the end of the game, and so bring it up here, the loss of Evan Pryor seemed to be a little bit more so than I expected. Like, I thought Manny Covey had a couple of good plays, but I didn't feel like Chance Williams ever really got going. And so that makes me think that if he's healthy and ready to go for Arizona, the run game can once again be something that Arizona must pay attention to, more so than what I felt Utah had to pay attention to. Is that fair?
A little bit, but yes, Evan Pryor would have helped. But if you look at Chance Williams, Zion Johnson, Manny Covey, they were all over 7 yards a carry. You were just down most of the time. So you weren't going to be able to give and you were 3 and out a lot. So you weren't going to be able to give them a steady dose of the running game. I was incensed watching the game that we didn't see more Tawee. I thought we were going to see 15 to 20 carries from Tawee, but then you go back and look at it and you go, all the other guys did well. Like, it wasn't like you had Tawee with 10 yards a carry and then everybody else was under 4. And then I would have thrown a hissy fit on one of the Bearcat Journal shows that we did the 24 hours after the game. But the more you looked at it, the more you're like, well, I mean, yeah, they gave Tawee his carries. They gave the other guys the carries that Pryor would have had. And the rushing attack still was over 200 yards. They ran the ball well. So I'm not too worked up about it, even though internally watching the game, I wanted to be. Like when Zion Johnson was out there for that first series and Tawee wasn't.
Yeah.
What are we doing?
Number 3
Where's
deserves
3?
a bell. Yeah, he deserves a bell cow look, but I almost feel like too, because I thought that as well, but I thought, man, Scott Satterfield really seems to like the idea of keeping guys in and out and keeping them fresh and substituting just about everywhere except on like the offensive line. It seems like even the wide receivers do a lot of subbing in and out too. So I guess that's just part of who he is. And for him to have a bell cow guy, it'd be kind of tough.
No, I mean, Corey Kiner was a bell cow. Like, let's not get it twisted. Corey Kiner carried the ball 20 plus times a game pretty much every week. So it's in there if they feel like that's the best. I think they do like, just to alter what you're getting at a little bit, I think they like having a speed guy and a power guy. And that's, Chance Williams, Manny Covey, Zion Johnson, and Zion Johnson's going to be a star.
He looked good in the couple plays he did have. I was excited.
He's got a chance to be outstanding. So it was good to see him get acclimated, get in a big game. But I don't know, man. I still, it nags at me a little bit. And Tawee might have got dinged up. I think he only had 1 carry in the second half. So he might have got dinged up a little that we didn't really catch on to. Hopefully we'll find more out about that this week into the next week for the Arizona game.
He's the guy that I figured if Utah was going to try to out physical the Bearcats, you just run Tawee Walker because he can out physical even the most out physical. And maybe that's what happened. Like there was just a point that it was just too much physicality. And he
only had 7 carries, Jeff.
Right. He took a bad hit. So I think I'm with you. All that being said, lots to work on for the Arizona game, but basketball begins tonight and Wes Miller, hopefully, is on his way to the tournament. It all begins against Western Carolina, and we'll discuss that coming up next. There's so many sports going on right now, and with NCAA basketball getting started, there's no better place to enjoy being a sports fan than with FanDuel, because new users can place a $5 wager, and if it wins, you get $300 in bonus bets. Let me tell you how to work that deal right now. Go to FanDuel, create your account, and place $5 on the Bearcats to win. Their first couple of games, they should win. Talking about the money line, not the point spread. Don't worry about the point spread. Go to the money line and put $5 on the money line, because when your first $5 wager wins, you get $300 in bonus bets. You won't find odds like that on bets that you can actually win. So go find a sure thing, like the Bearcats beating Western Carolina, or like the Bearcats winning game 2 as well, and put $5 on it, because you'll get $300 in bonus bets. And you can use those $300 in bonus bets across the app on all different kinds of things, all the different sports, all the different prop bets. What are you waiting for? Go download FanDuel right now. You can continue the conversation with us after the show is over. You can follow me on Twitter at Jeff Carr with 3 Fs. You can also follow the show at LO_Bearcats. And you can always follow Chad and say angry things to Chad whenever the Bearcats are falling behind at Chad
I'm mad.
Brendel
Tweet at Chad
on Twitter. You're mad? Tweet at Chad. And maybe you'll get mad tonight. Hopefully you won't. Hopefully you'll just be happy watching the Bearcats tonight. Tipping off. Yeah, let's all have fun, because the Bearcats are getting started with a brand new ball club. We talked about this a lot. Like, so the roster turnover and all that other stuff. Day-Day's the only one that really played significant time for them this last season, but there's a lot of talent. There's a lot of things to be excited about with the men's basketball team. And let's start there. Like, without what was perceived to be their main dude in the front court and Jalen Haynes. And we've seen a little bit of Mustafa Cham. We've seen a little bit of Bobby Miller. We've seen a little bit of these guys in the scrimmages and stuff. Who do you really think we're going to be able to rely on early on in the season as we kind of get going in non-conference?
I think there's going to be a night-to-night feel for that, because I think there is a pretty even distribution of talent. So some nights you're going to see Baba Miller lead the way. Some nights it's going to be Day Thomas. Some nights it's going to be Mustafa Cham. Some nights it's going to be Sean Abayev. Like, I think there's going to be some variety in that early, until this team really settles in and starts to find its identity, find where they're going late in shot clock, where they're going, in and out at the end of a half. That stuff I think is going to take some time. The good news is there's enough talent on the team that you'll be able to kind of ride a hot hand, where you're not in a situation where, hey, there's Sean Kilpatrick, there's Jaron Cumberland. If they're off, we're doomed. Now, right. Does that mean I don't want a Sean Kilpatrick or a Jaron Cumberland on the team? Absolutely freaking not. You always want that guy on the team. But in terms of trying to see what this looks like as this team finds its identity, I think it's going to take a little time to figure that out. The interesting thing is you've got 2 games to get ready, and then you play Dayton. Yep. And then you got 1 game, and then you get Louisville. So you've got 2 tough games in the first 5. That identity, that soul searching, going to have to happen pretty quick. The good news, Jeff, everybody is like that in college basketball now, where November is strictly, who are we? What is our identity? How do we become the best version of ourselves? I do think early you'll see them probably lean on Day quite a bit, just because he is the veteran. He's the guy that's been in the system the longest. You know what you've got. I think Wes will default to him some. And then hopefully, as Sean Abayev gets comfortable, you'll feel more comfortable, because he's an isolation type guy. Like, his game fits well in isolation. So that's who you would, in a perfect world, that's the guy you wanted in his hands in those late close situations. You just don't want to put that on a freshman that's just now taking the court in college for the first time.
Right. And I think that there's a lot of guys on this team that are so speculative as far as talent is concerned and how they're going to put it all together. I also look at, like, even a guy coming off the bench, and Jordi Rodriguez kind of really intrigues me as to what he's going to bring to the court. So with all that being said, it's a cloudy crystal ball for sure. But if you get out your crystal ball, who do you think will be the best player on this team this year?
I think in order for this team to reach its ceiling, they need Baba Miller to be right there at the top of the food chain because he's the guy that can do the most. He can score. He can handle the ball. He can rebound. He can block shots. He can defend on the perimeter. He can defend some in the low posts. But also I just go back to a conversation I had with a friend of mine who's been an NBA scout for a while now. And he said, here's the problem with Baba is that you're going to go into halftime of a game and go, damn, Baba's got 13 and 5. Like he is killing it. He is the best dude on the floor. And then he's going to finish with 16 and 6. And he's going to have 3 points and a rebound in the second half. And you're going to go, where'd it go? Can he take that jump? Instead of finishing with 13 and 5, maybe he doesn't blow up in the second half, but can he get 20 and 8?
Right.
So, 7 points and 3-4 rebounds in the second half. So you're not wondering, did he fall off the face of the earth? Because that's a huge difference. If you can now have a guy that you feel like on any given night can get you 20 and 8. So I think he needs to be like he's the high ceiling guy that really pushes this team to a different level. Mustafa Cham is probably the easy answer because he's on draft boards. I've talked to NBA scouts that have him in the first round. CBS just released which this cracks me up. CBS released their top 100 players in college basketball. Mustafa Cham wasn't on it. CBS released their draft board for the 2026 draft, and Mustafa Cham was 23rd.
The math doesn't math there. How can you not be a top 100 guy, but you can be a first round pick? Like that doesn't make any sense. So
I am perplexed by that as well, my friend.
I think too, like watching and the guy that I'm most excited to watch. I don't know if he can be the best guy, but he does what I want a guard to do, and that he's just part of everything. Is Sincere Buck Harris, and I love the fact that he wants everybody to call him Buck. But I'm really excited to watch him and see what he can do because at least in the little bit of time we watched him in the scrimmages, he's filled up the stat sheet. He does everything. He assists, he steals, he blocks, he rebounds, and he scores. I don't know what that's all going to equate to, and I think he's one of the most intriguing players on this team for me, just on how I like to watch the game. But he's going to be a guy that I keep my eye on as well a lot whenever he's on the floor. I don't know how many different lineups Wes Miller's going to play with, but I expect at some point he would be on the floor starting. I don't know if that means he's going to be starting against Western Carolina or not, but I'm looking forward to seeing what he's got for him as well. Huge transfer guy that Wes was able to land.
He will be probably the fan favorite. Like UC fans are going to love watching him play because defensively, he's just an absolute menace. Just an absolute menace. Now, is he going to be
25%? Yeah, he shot like 25% from three.
He's been a bad three-point shooter. He's worked diligently on it this offseason. But the threes he took in the exhibition games look like a 20% three-point shooter. So whatever's going in practice has not translated to live action yet. Is he going to be Kevin Johnson? And not that that's a bad thing, because Kevin was really kind of the defensive leader of those Troy Copain, Gary Clark, Jacob Evans teams for a couple years. But Kevin was a 6-7 point a game guy. And I would like to see Buck out there 28 to 30 minutes.
Yeah.
But that's going to be hard to do in this league if he's only a 6-7 point a game guy. If he's a 9-10 point a game guy, then I think you can put him on the floor more. If not, I think you're looking at 23 to 25 minutes, and that makes your defense significantly worse in those 5-6 minute, stretches that he's out of the game because you need a little bit more offense on the floor. So that's going to be the big thing for him. He can drive to the rim. He can get to the line. Looks like a decent free throw shooter. He's not like an 85% guy where he walks up to the line and he's knocking him down. Plus, you subtract 10% on the free throw percentage from everybody that puts on a UC uniform.
I was gonna say, can they do that this year? Can they shoot the free throws this year?
Well, that's like
we know that
like
doesn't happen.
Game. It's like a video game, right? Like there's a performance deterrent.
-1 to free throw ability. Yeah,
you could be a 90 on free throws, and you come to Cincinnati, and all of a sudden you're an 82 on free throws.
Bearcats jersey, add 2 to defense, or -1 to free throw shooting.
Right. So that's going to be the big thing for Buck is can he be a guy that consistently gets you up near double digits? If he is, then you can play him a lot, and you can really, really use his defensive tenacity to set the tone for your team.
The journey begins tonight, and we're going to break it all down tomorrow on the show. So make sure you join us here on Locked On Bearcats, and make sure you hit subscribe to both Locked On Bearcats, and make sure you jump into Bearcat Journal as well if you haven't already done so. There's a good chance you probably already have, but if you haven't, make sure you jump on in there, and we'll be with you all throughout the basketball season and the rest of the football season, however long that goes. Hopefully there's a Dallas trip and maybe even a playoff trip. Who knows? I've got some Buckeyes friends that are just like, yes, we hope that the Bearcats make it to the playoffs and have to travel to Columbus and get destroyed in Columbus. So you know what? Let's see what happens. Let's see if they can get there. But thank you for joining us on this episode of Locked On Bearcats. We will be back with you again here tomorrow, so make sure you subscribe. Now check out Locked On Big 12. Drake Toll's got you covered for the most exciting conference in college football, from the championship game to the first game and everything in between. Check out Locked On Big 12. Just like Locked On Bearcats, we are part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team, and specifically us. We are your Bearcats every single day.